Back with another video. This is Let's Talk NASCAR Racing, and we're back with another episode of Ripping the Boards. Let's get right into the episode. So, as you guys know, it's playoffs. I've been gone a few weeks. Man, shout out to those who could do this YouTube thing each and every day, man. Those guys like Eric Eastep and Jared Lundberg, man. The iceberg. Man, these guys, well, those are only ones that I really follow like that, and they be doing this thing basically every day. Like this is, what they do, and so kudos to them, man. This is difficult. Like I allow life to get in the way sometimes, and so that's on me. I didn't want to get back on camera till I got a haircut, because I'm like, oof, can't be looking rough. But I was like, when we started this thing, that I just come to you raw and unfiltered. So why am I doing that to myself? But then I still went ahead and I cut my hair yesterday. You know what I'm saying? I had to get fresh. I did it myself. So hope you guys like. Anyways, enough about that. Let's get right down to the nitty gritty. Last time I made a video was a few weeks ago. It was right before Watkins Glen, and a lot has happened since then. We've had at Watkins Glen, we've had SVG Shane Van Gisbergen absolutely dominate the Cup field again on the road courses. Kudos to him, and so that gave him what I think he has 4 wins and a couple stage wins. So I think he had 22, 23 points up on the cut line. And so, boom. Playoff points, I mean. So he was looking really set to start the playoffs. And then the next week we had, if I'm not mistaken, Richmond. Awesome race, amazing race. I think it was the best Richmond race in a while. But if you know about me, I didn't think that even since the next gen that we've had a bad Richmond race. Say what you will about me. I don't really think we've had a bad Richmond race since the next gen started. I think the last bad Richmond race was actually 2021, the fall race. So say what you want about me, but I think the next gen, at least, it has a lot to be desired on a lot of the other short tracks. I know technically they're not short tracks, but I consider Phoenix and Dover to be short tracks as well, and New Hampshire. Those are all short tracks in my opinion. They're just bigger, slightly bigger. So I mean, if it races like a short track, and it was a bump and bang like a short track, it's a short track. So yeah, um, a lot may be left to desired on those tracks with this car, but I don't think that the problem is. I don't think we're that far off. I think that us as NASCAR fans are a little more. What am I gonna say? I think we're a little more spoiled because we've been spoiled with amazing racing for so long that if it's not up to certain people's standards, then they, hate everything to do with it. But I think the racing has been decent with this car. I think the racing, so. I think when you have long green flag runs, I think that's always going to help. And then on the year when we had no stage cautions at the road courses, I feel like that actually really helped because I don't like melees. I don't like chaos and confusion. But yeah, let me not get too far off topic. So, Richmond was a great race. Austin Dillon was able to come away with the win there. I'm not an Austin Dillon fan by any means, like not anymore for certain things on and off track. But yeah, kudos to him. He was able to win without trying to murder someone this year. And so, I mean, he wouldn't have had to if Stenhouse didn't wreck house. But yeah, so he was able to get his way into the playoffs this year. No controversy. Seems like Richmond really suits Austin Dunn. Good for him. And then we had the season, the regular season finale at the World Center of Racing, Daytona International. I love me some Daytona, man, and I must say we had the best Daytona race in a while. The next gen has really suffered at all tracks, um, not intermediate. Like it was not an intermediate that um, has multi lanes is it's gonna suffer a little bit. You can still pass, but it's just a lot more difficult because the wake is a lot more defined in this car. But man, we had fuel saving in the race, and NASCAR did something different, which I will applaud them for, even though we shouldn't be giving them props for uh, doing something right because they should just do it. But I will. They shortened the length of the first stage to a run that is it was just long enough to where the guys didn't need to pit. And so they went all out in that first stage. And I mean, no one had any fuel issues in the first stage because we had three cautions in the first stage, including a big one. So, yeah, you're not going to have any problem saving fuel in a 35 lap stage when you can go about 40, maybe 42 laps if you're without heavy fuel saving, I think my opinion, I think the first stage should be 40 laps, second stage 45, and then the rest. I'm talking about at all restricted plate tracks. Well, they're not even plate tracks anymore, but we've called them for that for so long that the name just still sticks. But I think that's how it should be because with the amount of laps you run under caution before you even start stage two, it'll probably give you a you know, relatively even first and second stage, and then however long the third stage is, you're no longer racing to the end of a stage or going towards the end of the race, and you don't know if you don't have any guaranteed cautions to help get you caught back up. You're not racing to a designated caution. So yeah, that's just my opinion there. And then um, we had amazing Daytona race. Like even though there was some fuel saving, these guys still found a way to mix it up. And Daytona is going to give you more of that variability, even at night, because it's for some reason it's aging a little bit faster than Talladega, even though Talladega was paved before Daytona was. Daytona has always been a little bit more of a handling track. It's a little more narrow. Actually, it's a lot more narrow than Talladega, with being only 42 feet in width all the way around. And so yeah, it's more narrow, and it's gonna requires a little bit more patience, a little bit more give and take than say Talladega. Even though you still need give and take at Talladega, it's just massive and it's more wide, and so you have more space to hide and to make maneuvers. But yeah, that's enough about that. We had an amazing race. We had an amazing finish, and it was clean. It was green, and that's another reason why I'm like, ooh, I love this. I love this right here. And so, man, Ryan Blaney, shout out to Ryan Blaney, man. This guy just has a knack for uh, plate racing. You know, I mean, he's even done it before the Gen 7. Those who tend to be really good at drafting tracks, it doesn't really matter the configuration. They will find a way. It's just with how aggressive you have to be with the pushes now, you're more likely to run into trouble. Especially with the more aggressive you are. If you're more upfront, that's what it looks like now. More of the accidents start closer to the front than they've ever been, in my opinion. Actually, no, in my observation. That's and I've been paying attention, so just that's basically what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like more wrecks started close to the front because if you have a line now, more than likely, the front two cars are doing most of the pushing, and everyone else is just trying to stay in line. So you have those actually contacting bumpers like almost all the time. It's more than likely going to start up front, unless someone's like losing control or changing lanes, and like two cars like changing lanes when they weren't supposed to. And, you're always going to have that. But yeah, kudos to Ryan Blaney getting it done and not allowing another new winner. And so we had the playoff field set with all the 14 winners, and then you had Alex Bowman, and then you had Tyler Reddick. But both of those guys going into that race were in jeopardy of possibly being kicked out if there was a new winner. Um, Not both of them, but like either one of them. So yeah, because we were going to have the possibility of a 15th winner. So yeah. Um, and then after that, we had the playoff field set. I believe we had Larson up top, Byron second, tied in points. And then I believe you had Denny and Seabell. And I don't remember exactly the order going down, but I mainly remember that we had 14 winners and the bottom two were the two guys that weren't able to win in the regular season. So once you have that, then we started the playoffs last week, and we were in Darlington. And boy, oh boy, once we got to Darlington, it was to not only be able to repeat, like go back to back in separate years, that's extremely difficult. But then to win more convincingly the second time in a new team, yeah, yes, Joe Gibbs Racing cars are better, but you still have to go out and get it done, man. And get it done is what Chase Briscoe did. I'm like, and then they said before the race that the team has not fully realized their full potential yet. If that's not fully realizing your potential, then that's bad news for the rest of the garage because my goodness, 309 laps led out of 367 on one of NASCAR's most grueling races. Like this race is truly a test of man and machine, just like the 600. That's usually that's the longer event, but this is a longer run time usually because slower track, um, it gives up more time overall, and so yeah, man, that's just that's just grueling on these drivers. And so for him to be able to get it done back to back years, different teams, more convincing this time, kudos to him. But then with that, and a lot of playoff guys had trouble in this first race. And so that kind of shook up the field a little bit. We have guys like, Chase Briscoe's now advanced because we have the win and advance now in the playoffs. So if you're in the playoffs and you win a race, you advance. Boom. So now Chase Briscoe is locked into the second round. And then after that, you have Tyler Reddick, I believe. You have Denny Hamlin. And so these guys, even though they didn't have, Denny Hamlin didn't have the best of races, but he still was good enough that he was able to up that lead. Like a lot of playoff guys had problems. I believe at some point in the race, every playoff guy had problems or they just lack speed. And that just shows you the amount of pressure that these drivers and these teams are under to perform. If there's one thing that I can applaud the playoffs for is that you have more, high stress because these are essentially now 3 race seasons. And so everything is ratcheted up to 100. I don't like how I the same thing that you can criticize the playoffs for is the same thing you can give praise for. Is what I'm saying. I don't like the playoffs. I don't like how it comes down to 3 races, and then at the very end, you have the winner take all. I don't. I'm never going to agree with that. I mean, you can still call them champions because you have to win under the format that you're given, but most real NASCAR fans, they're not fans of it. So, and I'm included. So, but anyways, yeah. So it was a really big night for not only Chase Briscoe but Tyler Reddick, who finished second in all 3 facets of the race. But that didn't happen like without craziness happening the first lap of the race and throughout the race. And then even at the end of the race, last ditch effort, Tyler Reddick almost was able to pull it off and get by Chase Briscoe. So even though Chase Briscoe dominated the race, it was still neck and neck. And it's partially because Briscoe's car was just that good, but it's also because of the dirty air problem that we have with the next gen. And I guess as long as we have this car, we're probably just gonna have to deal with it. So, gotta find a way around it, literally. But yeah, and then yeah. So for right now, we're basically caught up. Um, yeah, from off top, I can remember SVG is already in trouble. Like they were like, oh, like everyone's doing the analytics. Like if he averages probably a 16th place finish in this first round, he'll be fine. I'm not exactly sure where he finished, but basically his entire cushion to the cut line is almost gone. He's only +3 on the cut line right now, and that's after just Darlington. We have Gateway this coming up this week, and then I believe we have the night race the week after, and so he's in real trouble. If other guys don't have problems, or if he doesn't find a way to have a big race in Gateway, he's looking at probably a must-win when going to to Bristol, and good luck trying to go to Bristol to have to win. That's never something. That's not a race that drivers point at and like, oh, we have to win there. We're gonna get it done there. That's not that's not the place. I mean, and it has happened before where guys needed wins and they were able to pull it off, but not there. Not usually. Um, Other guys like um, Chase Elliott didn't have a stellar race at all, but he was still able to pull off a 17th place finish, I believe. And he lost most of his margin on the cut line. Yeah, I think he's only +9 now, just like matching his number. So we've had a lot of things happen in this first in this first race alone. Josh Berry wrecked on lap one. Car just bottomed out and he lost control, but I believe he was still able to pick up the fastest lap of the race. So he's leaving at least with 1 point. Or I mean, everyone gets a point at least, even if you finish last. So I guess that's 2 points on the day. Could have just stayed home with that, but yeah, someone's gonna finish last, and then Austin Dillon also below the cut line because he didn't really enter with many points, playoff points, anyways. I don't think he won a stage all year, but he was able to win a race, and so yeah, he's already looking on the outside looking in, and then you have so you have Josh Berry, Austin Dillon, and if I'm not mistaken, Logano, and I forgot the last one, who's currently out right now. But yeah, these guys are already in a. It's looking like not must win, but must perform just for the next 2 weeks, and then it only gets more difficult from there. So this is really what you see that Joe Logano did last year, even though it took a lot of help as well. That's not usually what you see. You don't usually see underdogs like this win win championships. Usually, you have to be at least top 5 or 6 all season. So yes, it comes down to one race that you have to just perform in, but it's still to a degree you have to be good all year long. So, but you still have to be good at the right times. So, you know, it's it's, it's this little. It's really hard to explain. It's really hard to explain. So, yeah, I think that's a good place to hit pause on. And I will see you guys in the next video. Um, Glad to be back in front of the camera. Uh, Glad to be talking back to you guys again. Just, sometimes I be in my own head. Like, just, give everybody the facts. Give everybody your stance. Just be real, be raw, and just be me. And sometimes, like, you know, I get in my own head and I tell myself that's not good enough. But let's just do it, right? Um, oh, you know the drill, man. I got Instagram and Twitter, same handle at Let's Talk underscore NASCAR. Um, if you're not subscribed already, hit the subscribe button right here. And, let's talk more all things NASCAR, man. I'm excited to hear more from you guys. Um, I've been seeing a couple comments here and there on some of these videos. I'm excited to respond to you guys, as much as possible. And so let's keep the dialogue going. I'm not just here to rap, I'm also here to, you know, have debates, have dialogue, whatever. Boom. So catch you guys in the next video. Till then, I'm out.